Hi, I know it's been a long time, but I promise to come back and come hard and not give up. So we here today gonna review this video, react to it. So like, comment, subscribe, and hit the ring button for more of me.
Baltimore's soft on crime policies just gave this man a get out of jail free card. The man shown in this image, 28-year-old Patrick Bryce, was sentenced to 1 year of home detention and 3 years of probation for assaulting two pro-life men ages 84 and 73 outside a Planned Parenthood in the Democrat-run city. We must warn you, the footage you're about to see is graphic. This surveillance video shows the suspect tackling the first elderly man to the ground. That's when the second man approaches the scene to try to intervene, when then the suspect punches the second man. And once that man is on the ground, the suspect kicks the second man in the head, like punting a football. That is justice. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Emily Campagno, and joining us today, Laura Trump, host of My View with Laura Trump, Alicia Acuna, Fox News senior correspondent, Lisa Booth, Fox News political analyst, and David Webb, Fox News contributor. Now let's go straight to Madeline Rivera, live from Washington with the latest on this heartbreaking story. Madeline.
Hey, Emily, we spoke to the attorney for one of the victims, and he says the problem comes from the fact that the judge cleared the suspect, Patrick Bryce, of a more serious charge. So this is that judge, Yvette Bryant, who's being accused of being too lenient. The jury could not reach a unanimous verdict on the first-degree assault charge against Bryce when this case went to trial earlier this year. That is a felony. It would have led to jail time had he been found guilty of it. So there was a bench trial in June, and that's when Bryant acquitted Bryce on the first-degree assault because she says you could not tell in this video of the attack if Bryce was provoked. Here's the victim's attorney, Cheryl Roberts.
That's absolutely incorrect, factually.
So
and
you're telling me that because the video don't show if he was provoked or not, it's justice? It's okay for him to just knock down elderly man, not one but two? That make it right? And you're supposed to be what, a black woman? I mean, I know I have a lot of black women against black man, but you okay? No, if it was a black man, you'd have put him in jail. But because it's a white man or whatever man he is, he ain't black for sure, you're giving here a slap on the wrist? Can't be serious.
legally, he was committing a crime. That is, Bryce had just tackled Mr. Schaefer into a flower pot and brick wall, and he was out on the ground, and Mr. Crosby was coming to his aid.
You could have killed that man.
There was no legal provocation on the part of Mr. Crosby coming over to aid his friend. It's ridiculous. It's absurd.
Roberts adds justice was not served.
The effect of all this is that it's open season for pro-life people working around places like Planned Parenthood. It's open season for them, on them. I mean, anybody can come up and assault them, maim them, and essentially get away with it.
Bryce admitted he snapped when he attacked the two men. He says he thought one of the victims had made a racial comment, which put him over the edge. The victim's attorney is pushing back on that. Emily.
Thank you, Madeline. Bringing this conversation out here, David Webb, I find this sickening. I also find it sickening that the judge says, without the sort of clear proof of provocation, it doesn't need provocation. Nothing justifies that kind of violence. That attorney is absolutely right. It is open season. And the fact that there weren't enhancement charges brought because those two gentlemen were elderly sickens me to my stomach. This is not justice, but this is the U.S. under those Democrat-led cities.
Yeah, I mean, put the judge aside for a moment. Let me give you another perspective. As a black Republican, as a conservative, I've been called Uncle Tom, House Negro, all kinds of names throughout my career, and especially since the Tea Party days, by people I work with at SiriusXM. At no time did I ever go to this. So you want to talk about provocation? I've been called just about everything out there. This man, a 28-year-old thug, tackled a 73-year-old man, then took on an 84-year-old. And for the judge to say that the 84-year-old might have jumped in to get in the... How many 84-year-olds out there jump in to get into a fight with a much younger and clearly stronger man? This is garbage. This is Baltimore. This is the kind of judge that has allowed for an atmosphere that led to the riots after Freddie Gray, of all of these things, a city that's broken and doesn't have to live with the problem because these judges live in their nice enclaves or a secure environment, are escorted to the courthouses quite often. They have their coverage. But the provocation is garbage. Speaking as a black man who's been called every name, I never turned around and looked at people even that I work in the same company with and thought, let me go ahead and start a fight and take it from there.
And Laura, I want to underscore that the victims in this vehemently deny saying anything racially charged. And even the perp admits that he thought he heard something. So those men did not say anything. The whole point is that they were protesting abortions. That was their crime, other than apparently being old on the sidewalk. Nothing justifies this, and nothing justifies the slap on the wrist that this perp got.
Yeah, and don't forget, there was a woman, a 78-year-old woman, who was arrested and sentenced to 2 years in prison for what a lot of people say was praying outside an abortion clinic not too long ago. This is not the first time we have seen what feels like activist judges going against conservatives who are out there.
Woman for praying outside an abortion office, but didn't arrest this man for insulting two elderly men. Make it make sense. The math ain't matter.
Using their First Amendment right to protest and peacefully do so against something they don't agree with. There is never, to your point, Emily, any justification for anything like this to ever happen. And I hope that people start calling this judge out, because it is because of these judges we have seen what does not feel like equality here in the United States. You can't let this guy off the hook. Well, you have the 78-year-old woman just, a year or so ago who was given 2 years in jail for praying outside an abortion clinic. It doesn't work like that. This is America. We deserve better.
That's right. And Lisa, Kayleigh McEnany, our Kayleigh, interviewed those pro-life protesters. We're going to show a few seconds of that if we can pull it up, guys.
I'm hoping you could tell me about the conditions because, to be quite honest, I was shocked when I walked in and we had a conversation off camera about no toilet paper, some of the other supplies that were available. Could you share with me the condition of the prison?
Yeah, where I was in Bravo unit, it was actually a unit that had been condemned, and not all of our showers worked. There was backups in the plumbing with sewage coming out. Sometimes the heat wasn't working. Guys were wearing full jackets, parkas, hats, and gloves in the unit, not able to sleep. It was appalling. We went over 2 weeks without toilet paper. And some of the guys mentioned that some of the men who were there with gender dysphoria wearing dresses, they could get mascara, lipstick, and perfume, but we couldn't even get toilet paper or basic needs. So there was a lot of neglect.
So let me get this straight. So protesters, peaceful protesters, faith-filled elderly protesters are subjected to not fit for human habitation conditions. And then an absolute thug monster who beats severely two elderly men on the sidewalk, one of whom has permanent eye damage. He just gets house arrest.
Well, it's consistent with what we've seen in this country with pro-lifers being punished by the law. Chip Roy's office, Congressman Chip Roy's office has the numbers. From 1994 to 2024, there are 205 cases against pro-life activists and only 6 against abortion activists under the FACE Act, despite the fact that we saw over 100 pregnancy centers and churches firebombed or attacked after the Dobbs decision, Roe v. Wade, was released. So despite that, you have this unequal application of law. And I wonder if Patrick Bryce, the offender here, is aware that Planned Parenthood was started by Margaret Sanger, who believed in eugenics, and that was her mission. And she spoke at a KKK rally back in, I think it was like 1926. And by the way, if you look at abortion, it does disproportionately impact black babies. So her mission is still being carried out by pro-abortionists in the country. I just want to also point out that an abortion is committed in this country every 30 seconds as well. And so all these two men were guilty of, who were 73 and 80 at the time, were praying outside of a Planned Parenthood and trying to encourage a young woman to make a different decision and perhaps save a life in this country.
Yeah. So where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Because obviously we have a federal administration that is intent on wiping this kind of stuff out, but they're running into the federalism. So where do we go? Where do these citizens go who actually want to be protected?
I think that a lot of Americans right now are watching what the Trump administration is doing with Washington, D.C., because you think about this. When one of the victims, Mark Crosby, got up in the court and he shouted as the judge was leaving, "What about my rights, my well-being?" I think he echoed a sentiment that people have about violent crime in America. And statistically, according to the FBI, they released the numbers this week, violent crime is down. But much like economic numbers, you can throw data at people all day long. It really has to do with their own personal experience. And I think when someone sees these videos, and just like in Cincinnati, they see these videos and they see the punishment with this case, it's so upsetting. So I think they're watching what the president is doing because they're applying pressure where they feel that Americans aren't safe.
Yeah, and certainly in
This world is coming to a destruction. Everything will get damaged. The people them, it's getting bad. So I don't even know what to do to advise you, because I gotta look for advice myself. We have to look for guns, look for hideaways, because obviously the system is not with us, it's against us. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll be back with more.